Welcome in, y'all. Today we are covering the first team in the NFC South, and today that is going to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I've covered every team in the AFC and the entirety of the NFC North, so you can check those out on my channel. But let's settle in here and talk about the Bucs today. This is a team coming off multiple division titles in a row. Last season, they were bounced in round one of the playoffs at home. A late fumble cost them against Washington, which kicked off Washington's improbable run to the NFC Championship game. Tampa Bay is a team that I do like this year. I think they're flying under the radar a bit, but at the same time, I do think they will be similar to their team last year, although slightly improved. Week one, they're in Atlanta, and I do like this spot. This is a huge game. These are the two favorites to win the division, and they will likely be the two vying for the divisional crown. So this is a big game right off the bat. Week one, 1 o'clock Eastern kickoff, noon Central. And I like this spot for Tampa Bay to get this game in week one. It's not a primetime game. You don't have to deal with crowd, anything like that. Obviously you deal with the crowd, but it's a little different, those early games versus primetime. And I like this spot for Tampa Bay. I think Tampa Bay is the better team, and I like the spot where they get this road game against them. So I will take the Bucs to win week one on the road in Atlanta. Week two, they are on the road Monday Night Football against the Houston Texans. Last time they were in Houston, that was a fun game. That was a shootout between those two teams. And, putting it on primetime, I'm sure the NFL hopes for that to happen again, and I think it's very possible. Although I would expect a little lower scoring this time. I think it should be a close game. I think these are two teams on very similar levels. And ultimately, I'm going to go with the home team here, primetime Monday night. Home opener for the Texans. I will give that one to Houston. 1-1 now for the Bucs. They get two home games now in that hot Florida heat. Week three, home against the Jets. The Jets are a bit of a mixed bag this year. A bit of a question mark, but they should be below average. So I will take the Bucs at home in that one. And then the Bucs have played very well against the Eagles in years past. And while this one really could go either way, I do have the Bucs in an upset win at home here against Philadelphia. I just like the matchup for them, and they've proven that the matchup works well for them. But then coming off that very emotional high victory, they're on the road in Seattle. A bit of a trip-up game for them. This is a tough game, and I do have Seattle coming away with the win here. Bucs fall to 3-2. And then they're right back home looking to bounce back from that loss. They get the Niners coming to Tampa Bay in Week 6. This was a very close game last year when the Niners were still relatively healthy. You would expect the Niners to still be relatively healthy this early into the season, but the Niners are an unbelievably injury-prone team. I think I'm going to go with another upset home win here for the Bucs and move them to 4-2 on the season. And then week 7, they're looking for another upset, a team and a place that they won last year. They went into Detroit and got this win last year, and it would not shock me one bit to see them do it again. But this is Monday night in Detroit, and I do have the Lions coming away with a win this time, but I do expect it to be a very close game. Then you have a divisional battle on the road in New Orleans against the Saints team that should not be very good this year, although you cannot look any team, especially when you're on the road in the NFL. But I will still take the Bucs and move them to 5-3 heading into their bye week, a very solid record. Week 10 then, they are home against the Patriots, the Brady Bowl, I guess. Been a minute. Brady was the quarterback of Tampa Bay last time these two played in. That one was in Foxborough. This one is down in Tampa, and Patriots are much improved this year, and I think they have the ability to keep this very close. But I don't love this spot for the Patriots. Bucs are coming off a bye, so I will give them a win here to go 6-3. A very good start for the season. They have a tough little stretch coming up here, though. Week 11 on the road in Buffalo. As much as I love Baker and the Bucs, I don't think I can take them in this spot, and I think they fall to 6-4. And then they're on the road in Los Angeles, a game I've gone back and forth on, and a game I really think could go either way. I do think most people are picking the Rams in this one, but I would not be surprised to see Tampa Bay come away with it. It feels like a weird spot. With that being said, though, I do lean Rams here a little bit. Just being at home, Bucks got to come cross country all the way from Florida to California for that one, and the Bucks fall to 6-5. And you know what? You can go ahead and call it a bit of a slump because I think this is the first time in the season I would consider Tampa Bay getting upset. I think the Cardinals come in there and sneak out a win. I feel like the Cardinals have a few games like this every year where you're like, hey, whoa, this could be a pretty good team. And then they go and lose at home to the Browns or something. So I think this is one of those Cardinal games. They have the talent, and I think they put it together on the road in Tampa in this one. So Tampa has a little 3-game skid here. Lucky for them, they have 2 home games coming up, the first of which against the Saints team that should not be very good this year. I've already said that. And I think they handle business easily there to move to 7-6. And then you have a Thursday night football game. This one will be huge late in the season. I think they knew what they were doing putting it here. I think this is a great choice for Thursday night football late in the season. You have 2 teams that don't necessarily get that national attention, so I don't know about a Sunday or a Monday night game, but you have 2 teams that this will maybe be a game that could decide the NFC South. So I think a Thursday night is a great spot for this game. It's going to be very entertaining and a fun one for Thursday. I took the Bucks earlier in the season, and usually when 2 teams are they're not too far apart on skill. I often like to take the split in the games, but this is an exception. I will take the Bucks at home in prime time on Thursday night to take down the Falcons and move to 8-6. Week 16 then, on the road in Carolina. I think they get a little tripped up here. I think they lose to the Carolina Panthers and fall to 8-7 on the season. And then they are in Miami for a Battle of Florida, a game that could be fairly important to both teams. Both teams might be just trying to sneak into the playoffs. I do ultimately have more faith in Tampa Bay, not only as a team, but for them to be healthy, because Tua, that man, he just can't stay healthy, and the rest of the team is a bit crumbly right now. So I like the Bucks late in the season here. I don't have faith in the Dolphins to hold it together to that point. And then week 18, this could be a spot where they need a win to win the division or to make the playoffs, some sort of thing. And home against the Panthers, good spot to do it. The Panthers are much improved, and I do expect them to be pretty good and put up fights in most of their games. But I will still take Tampa Bay to win this one and finish the season with a very respectable 10-7 record. I think this is about right on par as to where you would expect this team talent-wise. I feel like we've had several of these predictions where the record is a bit off from what you'd expect talent-wise just because of the difficulty of the schedule. But I feel like this is a very middle-of-the-road schedule. They have plenty of tough tests, Houston, Philly, San Fran, Rams, Bills, Lions, but they also have some easier games. You get the Saints twice, Panthers twice, which I do have them losing one, but you get the Jets at home. So I think a more evened out schedule than there has been in the last couple. The NFC North had some brutal schedules, so Bucks fans, consider yourselves lucky. So 10-7 on the season, which I think might just be good enough to win the division, but we'll have to get through the rest of the NFC South to see if that will be the case, and those will be coming up in the next couple of days.